Hello. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My voice is
सर
audible, ma'am?
हाँ जी सर। सर स्क्रीन शेयर कर सकते हैं
Uh,
आप?
right, ma'am. Ma'am, I am sharing my screen, ma'am. Just wait, please.
हाँ ओके।
Ma'am, I
हाँ
have
जी।
shared my screen, ma'am. Is it visible, ma'am?
यस सर, इट्स विजिबल। यस सर, इट्स विजिबल।
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. May I start, ma'am?
यस सर।
Thank you. Very good afternoon to all the listeners who are listening to this video. I am Gaurav Bansal, a training officer at National Skill Training Institute for Women Mohali. You all are again welcome in the another session of POT, that is Principles of Teaching. In this today's session, we will discuss about the test and its types. So we know that the test is a word which creates some kind of feeling of fear for everybody. Either it may be a student or it may be a trainee, it may be a researcher scholar, or even it may be a teacher or it may be any other body. So up to the end of life, we always have some kind of fear from this word test, because we know that the test is used to evaluate the knowledge, it is used to check the skill of a person, it is used to determine the quality of subject taught or any other. So test is very much important for a student's point of view, because it determines the quality of skill, it determines the quality of knowledge among the students. When the students completed their course, when the students completed their training, and their knowledge and skill is determined with the help of test only. And for the instructor point of view, it is also important, because for the instructor, he or she must know about the test, he must know about the characteristics of the test, he must know about the which kind of test is suitable in which condition, because we know that there are various forms of tests, like interview is a one kind of test, group discussion is one kind of test, subjective nature is another kind of test. So an instructor must know about these kind of properties, so that he or she can evaluate his or her students accordingly and effectively. In today's session, we will discuss about the test and its types in very much detail. This is the brief outline of today's session. Firstly, we have some introduction about the test, what is a test and what are its types. Then we will discuss about the purpose of a test, that why it is conducted, why it is important, why it is important for administration, students, parents, and any other. Then we will discuss about the types of tests, like written tests are there, objective type tests are there, interviews are there. Then we discuss about the level of complexity in a test. The level of complexity means the which tests are more complex, or what kind of parameters that the instructor has to be taken care of while designing a test. That the how a test can be a complex, how a test can be easy. These kind of complexity we will discuss. Then we discuss some standard criteria to design the questions. And at last, we see the characteristics of a good test. Okay, so let's begin with the topic. Okay. So what is a test? If we, from bookish definition, the test is defined as the unaided performance by the learner. It is a tool which measures the quality and quantity of the performance of a trainee. We know that when a trainee completed a course, when a trainee completed any kind of training, either it may be a short-term training, it may be a long-term training, or it may be any other. At the end, the test is conducted to check the knowledge. The test is conducted to check the skill, whether the student or trainee has grasped that knowledge or not. It is used to check whether the objectives of the trainings have been fulfilled or not. Even in these days, like the many of the organizations which have decreases the trend of interviews, and they are completely making the selections on the basis of testers only. For example, if we talk about the CTET, the Center Teacher Eligibility Test, they are not conducting any interview. They are making the selections with the help of a test only. So it is very much important for a student and instructor to know about the test, how it can be attempted, and any other thing about it. It is a systematic procedure for measuring the individual's behavior, usually through paper, pencil, or computerized practical way. We know that the traditional system to conduct the test is with the help of pencil and papers, pen and papers. But in these days, the scenario has been changed. The tests are conducted with the help of computers. Even the skill tests are conducting physically by actually making the jobs. For example, your All India trade test or your final examinations of the CITS that are also conducted the computerized. Now, what is the purpose of a test? The test has a various purposes. Some important purposes of a test are like to check the understanding of the learners. Like as I told earlier, when a teacher taught some topic in the class, so test is conducted to check whether the students have grasped that knowledge or not, whether the students have understood the teacher or not. The test is used to classify the grade of the learners. When the teacher has to classify the students, like which students are weak, which students are average, which students are intelligent. So naturally, this kind of classification is done with the help of test only. With the help of a test, an instructor is able to identify and categorize the students. And accordingly, the instructor can give the input to the weak students. The instructor can give the more knowledge or more material to average students or intelligent students and any other. The test is conducted to encourage and motivate the learners to study. It is but natural when the test is conducted. If a student do not secure a good marks in the test, and definitely he somehow he will encourage to get the more marks in the next test. The test creates the feeling of competition among the students. It is but natural when there are 20 students, 40 students in a class. So it creates a feeling of competition among the trainees. They are trying to getting the more marks as compared to the others. So it guides the learners by knowing their weak points. So when the trainees or learners are giving the test, so with the help of test, they are able to know their weak points. They are able to know which areas of knowledge are weak. They are able to identify their points which require more effort at the part of trainees or at the part of instructor. And moreover, the tests are also conducted to provide the basis for selection of a candidate. For example, in a entrance test, like you student have got admission in CITS, you people have selected on the basis of a entrance test, that is All India Trade Test for the admission. Another purpose of test is it helps to parents to know the performance of their wards. When an instructor has to give a feedback to the parents, whether a student is average or what are the weak, what are the good points of a student, in which area the trainee has to go for a job. So this kind of feedback to the parents only can be given with the help of testers. Another purpose is a test to record the performance of the students, to record the performance of the trainees. And moreover, the test is also conducted to check the success or failure of a particular training program. When we conduct a training program, either maybe a short term or maybe a long term training program. So at the end, if we have to check whether the training has been successfully executed or not. So how it is checked? It can be checked only by conducting a test. Similarly, the another purpose is test to check the on-job skills or practical skills of a learner or any other. There are various other purposes of a test is also. Now, what are the testing methods? How we can test the trainees or students? Firstly, we will discuss about the broadly in testing methods. And broadly, the testing methods, there are two types. One is the formative, which is also called non-standardized test. The non-standard means the tests do not have any fixed format. The standard of tests, marking scheme, etc., is not fixed. So, what are these tests? These formative tests, these are conducted by the instructor, and there will be based on the syllabus covered by them. So, formative test, we may say that these are a toe tests which are conducted by the instructor itself. When the instructor completed a particular unit in a class, when the instructor completed a particular job in a class, so these kind of tests can be conducted to check the performance, to check the skill of the trainees on a regular basis. The instructor can conduct these kind of tests on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, or twice in a month, or any other depending upon the syllabus or depending upon the scheme of course. And secondly, because these testers do not have any some standard criteria, and these testers have not fixed marking scheme, and sometimes the instructor are conducting the tests on the only on the basis of syllabus they have covered in the class. So in these kind of tests, the certificates etc. are not being issued, and the score of these tests are not assumed to be a valid score for any interview point of view or for any other examination point of view. The another is the standardized testers. The standardized means the tests are standard, they have a standard criteria, they have a standard marking scheme, they have a standard pattern, they have a standard syllabus, and many others. These are also called the summative testers. So these tests are conducted by a recognized bodies, universities, national councils, state boards, etc. The question paper will be set by the examining body, and it will be based on the common syllabus. So this type of testers will be normally conducted at the end of the course, and the certificate will be issued to the successful candidates. Now, for example, all the other tests which are conducted by the regular bodies, like for example, you people are doing the CITS. So at the end, the examining body is the DGT. DGT will take the test of you people. So that kind of tests are called the standard testers. And these tests have a fixed syllabus. The test is common for all the people on a all India level, for all the institutes, all the students. There is no discrimination. The checking scheme of the test is also same for all the people who appear in the test. So these kind of testers are known as the standard testers, and the certificate is issued in these kind of testers, and these certificates are accepted for the employment. These are the valid for the employment point of view. Whereas if we talk about the formative testers, these are not valid for the employment. So now if we talk about the types of testers, an instructor has various methods to test the students, to test the trainees. Here we discuss some important important testing methods. Like one is, we may say the oral. The oral method means face-to-face, verbal method of testers. Another is the written testing method. And last one is the performance testing method. So performance testing method is the practical testing method in which the student has to participate physically. They have to perform the jobs physically, practically. So in the written category, there are various subcategories are there. Subjective category, then objective category, and under the objective, there are further subcategories, supply and selection, and they have further parts, short answer, direct questions, completion. Similarly, in the selection, multiple choice, matching, multi-fact, etc. So we will discuss about all these methods in very much detail in the coming slides, starting by one. Now, firstly, oral test. So as we all people know that oral means verbal when we are speaking with each other. These kind of tests are called oral test. The oral tests are simple series of questions asked to the trainees, students verbally, and all are answered verbally. The question is asking verbally and the answer is receiving verbally. So that are called oral testers. For example, viva voce, group discussion, face-to-face interview, etc. In the viva voce, the teacher and the student are facing to each other. In the group discussion, the interviewer and the interviewees, these are facing each other. Now, what are the advantages of these oral testers? You know that in the oral testers, the face-to-face interaction is there. There are no chances to copy each other because the people have to give the answer by sitting in front of the examiners. And moreover, for instructor, there is no need to prepare the question papers because it is a verbal test. The instructor can ask the question directly to the student. And moreover, this test also tell us about the confidence among the trainees, because the trainees are sitting in front of us, in front of the instructor. He or she can check the confidence of the trainees. Or we can say overall, the oral testers gives a true picture about the candidate, because there are no chances of copying are there. The candidate has to give the answer immediately. It gives that we can check the confidence of the trainees. We have a eye contact with the trainees. So we can say it gives the true picture about the candidate if conducted impartially. It is but natural. So on the other hand, there are some limitations of these tests. Now, what are those limitations? It is very time consuming to conduct the oral tests, because we know that if there are 50 students, for example, 50 students in a class are there, and instructor spend 20 minutes on one student, so we will multiply 50 with the 20, 1000 minutes. Okay. So 1000 minutes, we can say the 20 hours approximately. The 20 hours are required to take the test, and by just giving 20 minutes to one participant. So we may say these are very much time consuming for the instructor. Secondly, the chances of partialities are more, because sometimes depending upon the mood of the instructor, and sometimes it is depending upon the presence mindset of the instructor and trainees, and some other things like external pressure, etc. And there is a very much difficulty in fear marking, because some students are giving answer in a different way, and the instructor perspective point of view is different. So it is very difficult to marking fair in the oral test. And moreover, the different questions have to ask it from the different trainings. The natural, sometime we ask simple question from some trainings, sometime the question may be difficult for another training. So the question paper is not same. The asking questions are not same for each other. So we may say there is some kind of a partiality, or we may say it is unfair for all the trainees. And moreover, the respondent do not require, do not getting time to organize their thought, because the respondent or trainee is sitting in front of the instructor, so he has to give the answer immediately. He or she do not get the time to organize its thought. Whereas in cases of written test, they have some time to think and then give the answer. Then the next category is written test. Okay. We know that the written test basically are conducted with the help of a paper, pen, etc. These tests are more effective than oral. The questions and answers both are in written form. The questions can be spread over the entire syllabus, which gives the uniform assessment. This is the one of the most important benefit of the written test. That is, the question paper is same. The question paper is same for each and everybody. Whereas in oral test, the questions are different. Okay. So we may say that the assessment in the written test is somehow uniform as compared to the assessment in the oral test. So this written test, these are of two types. Okay. One is the subjective and another is the objective type. We will discuss this one by one. Firstly, subjective type. This is also called essay type tests. In the essay type test or subjective type test, the questions are few and the answers are lengthy. We know that in the subjective type, teacher has to give some questions. He may give 5 questions, 10 questions, 15 questions maximum. And the student has to answer the questions by writing on a paper. So the setting of question paper is very easy, because the instructor has to giving only 10 to 15 questions. But checking takes more time, because in this question, every student has given its own views. Okay. So the checking takes more time to check each and every answer, to understand the point of view of the trainees or students. It is a time consuming in the checking point of view. These are especially useful to test the quality of knowledge. So major benefit of this test is that when we have to check the quality of knowledge, whether the student are knowing in detail about the topic or not, so we can conduct the essay type test. It is used to check the theoretical knowledge. It is used to check the personality traits. It is useful to test the writing skills of a trainee. So when we have to check these kind of skills, we have to conduct the written tests. So naturally, there are some disadvantages of these written testers. Sorry, not written testers. This subjective type of testers. What are the disadvantages? The performance and expression of the trainee is affected by personal views and ideas of the instructor teacher. So it is but natural. The student has represent his own view. It is depending upon the instructor whether he or she agrees with that view or not. It is depending upon the mindset of the instructor when he or she checking the testers. Secondly, it cannot pinpoint the exactness of knowledge. The trainees try to hide their ignorance under the cover of words. This is what natural. The students are giving the irrelevant answers. They are not trying, sometimes if they do not know the answer, they are just giving the irrelevant answers that are not exactly relevant. They are not giving the pinpoint answer. They are just to fill the 1 page, 2 page, 3 pages. So sometimes if the instructor do not have so much time, so it may the sorry the ignorance or the this kind of feedback or this kind of error of the students can be hide under the cover of the words. Similarly, to avoid the possibility of copying, the students can give the lengthy answer in their own words. And moreover, we can say the chances of copies are there because the written tests are conducted in examination room. So there may be a chances of copy to each other. So in this subjective testers, the questions are generally asked. The introductory words are like explain something. We may say explain the working of a computer. There may be a comparison of two terms like compare half wave and full wave rectifier, state the function of CPU, describe the concept of bridal makeup. Okay. So these are the few words. These are the introductory words in essay type or subjective type question. Explain, compare, state, describe, discuss, distinguish, why, which, etc. The next category is objective type testers. So objective type testers, these are also called short answer type tests. Because in the subjective test, the student has to given the lengthy answers. But in objective testers, they have to give the short, very short answer in fact. These are also known as matter of fact. The matter of fact means the students have to give the actual fact only. Whereas in case of subjective test, the student can give the lengthy answers, they can give the irrelevant information. But these kind of things are not possible in objective kind of test because the answers are very short or they have to select something. So these are the matter of fact test. These are free from the personal views, free from the personal prejudice side of the students as well as instructor. There is no need to have command over language as each question have one definite answer. So in these kind of testers, the scoring is very easy. The scoring is very fair because if the student has given the correct answer, he or she will get the full marks. And if the answer is wrong, he or she will get the 0 mark or negative mark. The scoring is easy and fair, but it requires great skill on the part of teacher to design such kind of testers. Because the answers are very short, so the teacher or instructor has to design lot of questions. In case of subjective test, maybe 10 or 15 questions are sufficient. But in case of objective test, because the answers are very short, the number of questions has to be increased accordingly. So there are advantage of these tests is the scoring is uniform, as I told earlier, and it is independent from the personal opinion of the trainees or examiners. The grading is very easy. Either the answer is correct, full mark, or either the answer is wrong, 0 mark or minus mark. The quality of language, writing does not affect the scoring of the trainees. Some students may do not have so much effective writing skill. So these kind of skills do not have any effect on their scoring. And moreover, because the number of questions are more, so wide range of subject matter can be covered. If there are 10 chapters are there, so the 50 topics are there, the trainee or instructor can give the one question from each topic. But this kind of things are not possible in subjective kind of test. Now, this question has some limitations, like it is very difficult to design because as an instructor, he or she has to prepare the lot of questions. The chances of copying are more because the answer is very short. The student can copy very easily. And moreover, the quality of depth knowledge cannot be tested because the student has to guess the answer only. So they do not need to draw any diagram. They do not need to explain anything. So depth of knowledge cannot be tested with the help of objective testers. That's why they are not useful for advanced students or advanced courses. And the personality traits like writing skills, these cannot be tested in objective type of test. So while designing a test, instructor has to be taken care of which kind of skill he or she has to test, and accordingly he can design the test subjectively or objectively. Now the objective test, they are divided into two major categories. One is the supply type items. In the supply type items, the trainees has to supply something. Supply something means they have to write something. It may be a short answer type. It may be a direct question. It may be a fill in the blank completion type, or it may be a identification type. But some component, some example, some picture is there, and they have to identify. Another, the objective type of test may be of selection type. The selection type means the trainees has to select something from given data. The data is given, some data may be wrong. The student has to choose, the student has to select correct data. Okay. Like multiple choice questions are there, matching type questions may be there, multi-fact type questions are there, or true or false may be there. So there are some examples of these objective tests, like define current. So the answer is very definite answer is there. They have to define the current, number of electrons per time if you are a student of electronics. Similarly, what is the unit of length? You may say it is a direct question. We know that the unit of length is meter. Length is measured in meters. Okay. So nobody can give the another answer. The exact answer is meter. So everybody has to give the answer meter. Okay. Like fill in the blanks, there are dash levels in the Bloom taxonomy. Now we know that there are 6 levels. So naturally, the answer is 6. The trainee has to give the answer 6. Otherwise, it is wrong. Identify the tool. There may be some picture of the tool, and the student has to choose. They have to tell that which tool is this. Okay. Similarly, matching type questions are there. Match the following. Like for example, in 5th question, we may say the premises is given and responses are given. Under the premises, work, power, energy, and force. And the responses, Newton, Joule, and another kilogram meter per second. So in the matching type, the student has to match the premises with the responses. Like in this question, we may say that like what is work? What is the unit of work? Joule. Okay, so the answer is B. The first is matches with B. Similarly, second, power. Unit of powers are kilogram meter per second. Okay. So answer is C. For third, energy, again unit of energy is joule. Answer is B. And fourth, force. Unit of force is Newton. This is a question of physics basically. Okay. So the main thing is what are the the example of matching type test. So by this way, instructor can design test accordingly. The next may be objective type test, like what is the unit of current. This is the selection type question. The 4 options are given and the student has to select the correct answer. We know that the unit of current is, it is ampere. Okay. The answer is B, ampere. Then third is the performance test, practical test. Okay. We know that the performance tests or practical tests, these are used to check the skill of a learner. Whereas if we talk about the other testers, they are used to check the knowledge of the learner. but practical tests are used to check the skill of the learners. The test measure the level of skill attainment of the learner toward any specific trade or job. So in the practical testers, the exercises should be designed to make the students apply their knowledge and demonstrate his or her skill. So when the instructor is designing such kind of test, especially practical test, because in practical test, only one question or two questions are there. So the one question or two question should be designed so that students have to apply their complete knowledge. Now, next is the level of complexity and difficulty. So when designing a test, the instructor has to take care of complexity and difficulty in the test. This is a very much important part for an instructor. And what is the complexity? Complexity is basically level of Bloom's taxonomy that we have discussed in the last lecture. In the Bloom's taxonomy, we have studied that the level is from knowledge to create. The knowledge level is simplest level in which the student has to given the answers only on the basis of their knowledge. Whereas the difficult level is creation level, where the students has to create something. So the instructor has to decide this complexity in their questions. And what is difficulty? Difficulty is based on the amount of effort need to solve a question. It is generally determined by the how many students can answer a question successfully. So naturally, if the instructor has taught a topic in detail, in that case, the question is not easy. In case question is unknown, the instructor has not taught that topic in the class, naturally that answer the question is difficult. So basically the level of difficulty can be decided by the number of students. Okay, how the number of students have more number of students have given the answer. So that means the question is not difficult, otherwise it is difficult. Whereas complexity is levels of Bloom taxonomy. So we discussed about these levels. Generally, in our all India trade test for the CITS, normally there are three levels of questions are there. One is the level one. In the level one, very easiest questions are there, which are only relevant with the facts, knowledge, and memory. In the level two, there are some more difficult questions, which are depending upon the functional understanding, which are depending upon the reasoning ability of the student. The level three is the difficult, most difficult level, which is the problem solving level. So whenever the instructor is designing a test, he has to take care the number of questions on the basis of level one, number of questions on the basis of level two and level three. Now, what are the this level one? As I told earlier, the level one is about the capacity of memorizing of a student. This is about the direct theoretical knowledge regarding any machine, any principle, any standard formula, etc. The student has to just memorize the answer. The level of question is according to that. This is very basic level and require the memorizing of the components only. Well, for example, the part names are there. For example, one machine is there. The student has to tell the part names. Some samples may be there. Some unit of some topic like length, weight, time, etc. Some formula or some range, etc. Now, for example, what is the unit of length? As I told earlier, we know that it is meter. So this is the level one example, most easiest level. Okay. Another we may say, how many bits are in one nibble? We know that. How many bits are there? Objective type question is there. Answers are given 1, 2, 8, and 4. And what is the correct answer? It is a D. 4 bits are there in one nibble. So this is level one, most easiest level. Next is the level 2. The level 2 is more difficult as compared to the level 1. The student has to apply their mind. They have to apply their reasoning ability. They must know some mechanism. They know how to complete a job in a professional way. It also covers a functional understanding of equipments, processes in the proper working conditions. For example, there may be a questions of comparison, differences, operation methods, some procedures, some application, some rules, etc. For example, level 2 example, the student of electrical, which type of single phase motor is used in ceiling fan? You know that there are capacitor start induction motor, capacitor start capacitor motor, permanent capacitor motor, repulsion motor. 4 types of motors are there, and the student has to select the best motor. They have to select the motor on the basis of some reasons. So natural, these kind of question require the reasoning ability of the student. The answer is C, permanent capacitor motor. Similarly, another question is, some statements are there, following statement in concept of a common emitter transistor for the electronic mechanics student. So 4 options are there. Emitter current is equal to base current is equal to collector current, emitter current is more. Similarly, 4th option is there. So which of the statement are true? So the student has to apply his mind. He or she has some kind of reasons. Only then he or she can give such kind of answers. So the answer is, if you are a student of electronic mechanics, the answer is C. Emitter current is more than collector current and base current is less than the emitter current. The level 3 is the problem solving. This is the most difficult level. In this level, the student has to given the new problem, totally unknown problem is there, and the student has to apply their previous knowledge to solve the unknown problems. Repair problems are there, the failure analysis or fault adjustment are the examples of level 3 questions. Now there are criteria to design some questions. While designing a question for an instructor point of view, if you are designing the short answer type questions, the question should be precise and understandable. The question should be a direct question. It should give the exact answer of the question should be there. There should be no ambiguity in there. It should be relevant with the syllabus. Whatever the abbreviations or symbols used, that must be as per the standard of BIS, and the question should not have more than one answer. Similarly, for the matching type questions, instructor has to be taken care. The direction and instructions should be there. The matching conditions should be very clearly. The longer sentences should be avoided, and if longer sentences are there, it should be under the premises, and shorter sentences should be under the responses. Similar, the responses should be one less as compared to the premises, and the number of options may be 3 or 4. It should be in the ratio of 3:4 or 4:5, and the questions should be relevant. In the multiple choice question, like destructive answer should have close relation. Okay, they should be very close, interlinked with the other 3 options. Otherwise, it will be the easy for the students to give the answer. The answer should have short form. If there are some numerics are there, it should be in a uniform order. Uniform order means from increasing order or in a decreasing order. And lastly, the all of the above and none of the above should be avoided. Now, there are characteristics of a good test. A good test must be a valid test. The valid means this test must be from a valid syllabus. The test should not be from the out of syllabus. If be a valid syllabus, the syllabus has to be taught in the class to the students. The test should be a reliable test. That means the working conditions or sitting conditions do not have any effect on the answers of a test. The test should be objective in nature. Objective means if it is checked by the different examiners, the answers, the scoring should not vary. There should only be a variation of 5 to 10%. It should not be like that one examiner have checked the answers and he given the far more marks as compared to the other examiner. The objectivity in a test should be there. It should be a discriminative. Discriminative means the test should be able to categorize the students. Some student may getting the more marks, some student may getting the less marks, so that from the test, instructor can identify the average student, weak students, intelligent students. That means the test must be able to discriminate the students. It must be a comprehensive test. Comprehensive means it should be uniformly from the syllabus. All the topics of the syllabus covered uniformly, so that the weak areas of the students can be judged from the test. The next ease of marking should be there. The ease of marking means sometimes the test is conducted by the different examiners. So it should be easy for the marking. And then it should be a definite test. That means the questions in the test are should like that. There is only one correct answer. There should not be ambiguity in the answers. Multiple answers should not be there. All the questions in a test must be of a definite nature. So this is all about the today's session. Hope you people enjoy the session, and thank you very much for your listening. If you have any doubt, you may ask. There are, I think, 5 minutes are there. So let me check in the chat box. If you have any query, then please you may ask in the chat box. Please speak in Hindi. So next time I will try to more speak in Hindi. So there are some NST group link is there. Okay, I think no doubt is there. Only the thing is about the language. Next time I will. So the last slide. Okay. So I will explain the last slide as asked by one student. So the last slide, this is the characteristic of a good test. Whenever जब भी एक इंस्ट्रक्टर ने टेस्ट तैयार करना है, तो उसने इन कंपोनेंट्स का ध्यान रखना है. ये एक अच्छे टेस्ट की विशेषताएं हैं. लाइक फर्स्ट इज वैलिडिटी. जो टेस्ट है, इट मस्ट बी ए वैलिड टेस्ट. वैलिड मींस जो टेस्ट है वो सिलेबस से होना चाहिए. अगर आप सिलेबस से बाहर से क्वेश्चन दोगे तो नेचुरल स्टूडेंट्स नहीं कर पाएंगे, एंड दैट टेस्ट इज नॉट ए वैलिड टेस्ट. नेक्स्ट इज द टेस्ट शुड बी ए reliable. The reliable means a test designing or the questions in the tests are such that they grasp the knowledge of the students. तो जिससे कि आपको उनकी नॉलेज के बारे में पता चल सके. Secondly, if you arrange the test in different conditions, अगर आप उस टेस्ट को डिफरेंट ग्रुप ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स के ऊपर एक्सपेरिमेंट कर रहे हो, या फिर कोई और ग्रुप ऑफ स्टूडेंट उस टेस्ट को दे रहा है, या फिर कोई सिटिंग कंडीशन चेंज हो रही हैं, तो टेस्ट की परफॉर्मेंस में कोई फर्क नहीं आना चाहिए. दैट इज कॉल्ड ए रिलायबल टेस्ट. ऑब्जेक्टिविटी. ए गुड टेस्ट शुड बी ऑब्जेक्टिव नेचर. ऑब्जेक्टिव मींस कि अगर टेस्ट को अलग अलग एग्जामिनर भी चेक करें, तो जो आंसर्स में जो स्कोरिंग है वो सिर्फ 5 to 10% वेरी करनी चाहिए. क्वेश्चंस इस तरह के होने चाहिए कि उनके मल्टीपल आंसर्स ना हो. इफ इट इज बीइंग चेक्ड बाय द मल्टीपल एग्जामिनर्स, तो द मार्किंग शुड वेरी ओनली फ्रॉम 5 to 10%. देन इट मस्ट बी ए डिस्क्रिमिनेटिव. डिस्क्रिमिनेटिव मींस टेस्ट में क्वेश्चंस डिफिकल्टी लेवल 1, लेवल 2, लेवल 3 होने चाहिए, सो दैट एक इंस्ट्रक्टर जज कर सके कि कौन से स्टूडेंट इंटेलिजेंट हैं, कौन से स्टूडेंट्स एवरेज हैं, कौन से स्टूडेंट बिलो एवरेज हैं। ये तभी हो पाएगा जब आपके टेस्ट्स में आपने तीनों लेवल कवर किए हैं। आपने आसान क्वेश्चन भी दिए हैं, थोड़े से ज्यादा डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन भी दिए हैं, और बहुत ज्यादा डिफिकल्ट भी दिए हैं। ओनली देन यू कैन डिस्क्रिमिनेट डिस्क्राइब द स्टूडेंट्स। द नेक्स्ट टेस्ट शुड बी कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव। कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव मीन्स वो पूरे सिलेबस से होना चाहिए। ये ना हो कि अगर 10 चैप्टर हैं, आपने 80% टेस्ट सिर्फ 3 चैप्टर से डाल दिया और 20% चैप्टर बाकी 7 चैप्टर में से डाल दिया। अगर 10 चैप्टर हैं तो 10 के 10 चैप्टर्स में से ही क्वेश्चन होने चाहिए, एंड ट्राई कीजिए कि बराबर क्वेश्चन हो। देन ईज ऑफ मार्किंग, टेस्ट चेक करना आसान होना चाहिए, उसके आंसर्स इस तरह से होने चाहिए कि अगर कोई और एग्जामिनर भी चेक करे तो उसको चेक करने में डिफिकल्टी ना आए। ईज ऑफ मार्किंग शुड बी देयर। देन इट शुड बी ए डेफिनेट टेस्ट। जो क्वेश्चंस हैं उनके एम्बिग्यूटी वाले आंसर नहीं होने चाहिए, मल्टीपल आंसर नहीं होने चाहिए। क्वेश्चंस should be straight and the answers should be straight. So this is about the characteristics of a test. So any other so I think no other doubt is there. So again, thank you very much for your listening. Thank you very much.
सर आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है।
Ma'am, I have finished, ma'am.
ओके ओके सर, मैं मीटिंग एंड कर दूं सर?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, please. Thank you very much, ma'am.
ओके।
Thank you, ma'am.